Beautiful, talking about dreams. The name of the talk is Heart of Your Dreams, so that's perfect. Happy February, everybody. Yes, we're almost through the winter. And I have to say, you can't really walk into many stores or businesses without seeing the hearts and the flowers and the candles and all the stuff that goes along with this holiday, Valentine's Day. You know, I was actually talking to my sister about that when you were kids, it was like you got a little card to give to like a crush or to everybody in your classroom. And that was it. Right now it's like this big, huge holiday. My gosh. But it's got a lot of trappings to it, and it can be really good. And it can feel not so good. And sometimes that depends, because of the society push on this holiday, if you're in a relationship or not, right? Valentine's Day. So what we're doing each week in this month of February, is that we're going to dive into the heart of a number of matters, okay, of different events, which will bring the sweetness, the hearts and the flowers and all of that good stuff right into our own being, because we can envision them as part of our heart to each and every one of us, regardless of relationship status. Fall in love with ourselves, that's what I say. Yeah. Fall in love with yourself and love yourself as much as you possibly can. And so today we're going to get into the heart of your dreams. We're going to talk about bringing our dreams into fruition. We do this. We do this a lot at Joyful Gathering. We talk about how when we have a vision and an intention, a dream, how we can bring it back into, not back, but bring it into manifestation in our lives. And so I am knowing that each and every one of us here today is going to deepen it just a little bit further in expressing the dream that is alive within each one. Because I know that each one arrived on this planet Earth with a dream embedded in their hearts. And they have just, maybe it's been covered up, maybe it's been lost somewhere in between, but now we're going to be ready to let that dream, that vision, that you out, to bless this world. That's what we're going to do today, all right? Yes. So let me begin with a little story. A true story, actually. It was in 1959. Jean Harper was in the 3rd grade. Her teacher gave the class an assignment. Write a report on what you want to be when you grow up. Jean's father was a crop duster, and Jean was completely captured by airplanes and flying. And she poured her heart into her report, including all of her dreams. She just poured it all in. She dreamt of dusting crops, just like her dad. She dreamt of making parachute jumps. And she dreamt of seeding clouds. She dreamt, most of all, at becoming an airline pilot. Yes. She wrote and wrote, and she filled this paper with all the excitement and enthusiasm a 3rd grader could hold in their heart. Her paper came back the next day with a big red F on it, along with these words, true story, impossible! You have written a fairy tale. None of those dreams are for a girl. 1959, folks. Jean was crushed and humiliated. She showed her father the paper, and he said, what does that teacher know? Look at Amelia Earhart. Of course you can fly a plane. And as the years went by, Jean was beaten down by the negativity and the criticism that she received at every corner. Girls can't become airline pilots. Never have, never will. You're not smart enough. You're just plain crazy. That's impossible. We all know impossible means I am possible, right? Just wanted to throw that in there. Until at the ripe old age of 12 or 13, Jean gave up on her dream. She just gave up on it. So I want to pause for a moment right there and ask each and every one of us, What was it in our hearts when we were really young that we dreamt, that we wanted to be when we grew up? Something that really pulled our heart and made us feel so good. And just to think, maybe you were lucky enough to be encouraged. But I think a lot of us were crushed. We're crushed. I mean, my big dream was, my only dream was to be in front of a microphone and to be an actress. My sister, who was my backup singer for all the songs I wrote, which was, we were always in front of a microphone. And they got crushed. But the vision still persisted within me. And acting, I had all the connections, it could have happened. But something else, life took place and the beliefs crushed you down. But look at where I am today. I got this microphone right here. And as Carol just said, I've been called by this mighty presence on high, so I better show up for this one. But that's just one example, and I know we all might have something similar to that. So fast forward to Jean's senior year in high school. Jean's English teacher gave the class an assignment to write a report. What do you think that you will be 10 years from now? Jean thought about the assignment and she thought about her old dreams. Pilot, she thought? No way, it will never happen. Flight attendant? Not pretty enough. Wife? Who would want me? Waitress? Yes, I could be a waitress. I could do that. So she wrote down waitress. The teacher collected the papers and noted, and nothing more was said. 2 weeks later, she handed back the assignments to all the children, face down, and asked them this question. If you had unlimited finances, access to the finest schools, and limitless talents and abilities, what would you do? And write that down on that empty side of the paper. Not surprisingly, Jean felt a rush of her old enthusiasm come up, and she began to write them down. When all the students had finished, the teacher asked, how many of you wrote the same thing on both sides of the paper? And not one student had written the same. It was always something different. The next thing this very wise teacher said changed the course of Jean's life forever. She leaned forward over her desk and looked at the students straight in the eye, each and every one of them, and said, I have a little secret for each and every one of you. You do have limitless abilities and talents. You do have access to the finest schools. And you can arrange unlimited finances if you want something bad enough. This is it. When you leave school, if you don't go for your dreams, no one else will do it for you. You can have what you want if you want it enough. In that moment, in the face of truth, the years of hurt, fear, and discouragement crumbled in front of Jean. And she felt exhilarated, a little scared, but exhilarated. And she stayed after class to thank the teacher and told her all about her dream to become a pilot. And the teacher stood up and slapped her desk and said, well, then do it. So Jean did. It didn't happen overnight. It took 10 years of very hard work, facing opposition that ranged from quiet skepticism to outright hostility, but she still did it. First, she became a private pilot. Then she got the necessary ratings to fly in aircraft and even commuter planes, but always as co-pilot. Her employers were often hesitant about promoting her because she was a woman. But she would not stop. And she went on to accomplish every dream that her third grade teacher told her that she could not. It was a fairy tale. For a time, She was a crop duster, just like she said she would be. She made a few hundred parachute jumps, like she stated. She even spent a summer as a weather modifier and seeded those clouds. In 1978, she was in the first group of the first female pilot trainees ever accepted by United Airlines. And ultimately, she became the captain. Not the co-captain, but the captain of a Boeing 737. It was the power of a few well-placed positive words, one spark of encouragement from a woman Jean respected. That's what it took for this young girl, and she was so blessed by that teacher, to come forward and allow that desire within her heart to be fulfilled. There is nothing we can do if we want it enough. There is absolutely nothing. And Jean said this about her teacher: I chose to believe her, and then I committed myself to the dream. And this is from Chicken Soup for Female Souls, Jack Canfield. I chose to believe her, and then I committed myself to the dream. That's the action part. When you get to the heart of your dreams, the really heart of your dreams, whether they've been planted there since you were a young child or just coming up right now, it is your choice to believe you can do it. You can make it. You can do anything that you really put your mind to, as long as it doesn't harm others. So I want us to explore these questions within the framework of an acronym, because I love acronyms. And this one is DREAM, D-R-E-A-M. So D is going to stand for deserve your dreams. R, reach for them. E, expect the best. A, align with source. And M, manifest your dreams. So first, the D, deserve your dreams. I know some of us think we deserve, I know some of us don't think we deserve our dreams. We really don't. We sabotage. But I'm here to tell you that you do. You absolutely, and just because you have self-sabotaged in the past does not mean that from this present moment going forward you cannot manifest what your heart desire is. What its desire is. It might not look the way you thought it was going to look, but there's still a microphone. There's still the little girl. It's still happening a different way. Yeah, a completely different way. But it's still happening. But we have to believe in ourselves and follow our heart. Really, really. So I want you to say after me, when I express my dreams, I express the God of my being.
I express the God of my being.
And I deserve to express the God of my being.
And I deserve to express the God of my being.
That's right. Ernest Holmes tells us on page 288 of the Science of Mind book, free yourself forever from the thought that God may be pleased by a life of sacrifice. Wrong, if anybody was brought up. Wrong. That the world is any better because of your misery. Or that righteousness, right? I mean, this is the stuff most of us were taught. Let me go on. This whole thing about the nuns and what. But, again, well, that's in the past. Or that righteousness is more perfectly expressed through poverty than abundance. Really? No. Know that the greater the abundance of every good thing which you are bringing out in your life, the more perfectly you are satisfying the divine urge within you. This is all Holmes. Anything you can dream of is not too great for you to undertake if it hurts no one and brings happiness and good into your life. That's what we need to teach our children. That's what they need to believe. So again, let's put our arms up. Power pose. When I express my dreams,
I express my dreams.
I express the God of my being.
I express the God
express the God of my being.
And I deserve to express the God of my being.
So it is.
And so it is.
There is a passage in Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. Some of you might have read this book. And this is a little long, but that's okay, because it's so powerful. I want to share this with you, and just for you to know, she has a certain type of healthy arrogance. And if you've read any of her works, she can be a little bit sassy. So, here I go. I believe this kind of arrogance, this simple entitled to exist and therefore express yourself, which is arrogance, is the only weapon with which to combat the nasty dialogue that may automatically arise in your head. When you get an artistic impulse, which is a dream, right, a desire, you know that nasty dialogue I mean, right? Yeah. I'm talking about the nasty dialogue that goes like this. Who the hell do you think you are after trying to be creative? Some of the words are a little wrong. You suck. You're stupid. You have no talent. You have no purpose. Get back into your hole. This is some of the stuff we tell ourselves. It might be pretty blatant to say it from up here, but this is how hard we are on ourselves, okay? To which you may have spent a lifetime obediently responding, you're right, I do suck, and I am stupid, thank you, I'll go back in my hole now. I would like you to see you, she writes, engaged in a more generative and interesting conversation with yourself than that. For heaven's sake, at least defend yourself. Defending yourself as a creative person begins by defining yourself. It begins when you declare your intent. Stand up tall and say aloud what it is. I am a writer. I am a photographer. I am a singer. I am a chef. I am an artist, a designer. Or it could be, I don't know exactly what I am right now, but I'm very curious to find out. Speak it, she says. Let it be known that you are here. Heck, let you know that you are here. Because the statement of intent is just as much of an announcement to yourself. Isn't that good? Just as much of an announcement to yourself as it is an announcement to the universe or anyone else hearing this announcement. Your soul will mobilize accordingly. It will mobilize ecstatically, in fact, because this is what your soul was born for. And trust me, your soul has been waiting for you to wake up to your own existence for years. But you must be the one to start the conversation. I love this. And then you must feel entitled. It's a good thing to feel entitled. I'm entitled to my good. I'm entitled to the best that life has to offer. And I take full advantage of it. I do. Anyway, that's not what she wrote. I'm just telling you. That feeling of entitlement has gotten a bad rap. Well, if it harms no one and makes your soul feel free, then it's a good thing. And then, yes, this proclamation of intent and entitlement is not something you can do just once and expect miracles, she writes. It's something you must do daily, forever. So, here's what I want to do, and it might be a little stretch, but is anyone at all willing to stand and make a proclamation that goes like this? I am blank, fill it out yourself. Or if you don't know, I don't know exactly what I am, but I'm curious enough to find out.
I'll do it.
Please do.
Hello, everyone. My name is Adelia Rivera Santos. I am a writer.
Oh! Writer. Anyone else? One person brave enough. Do it, Dana.
Go ahead. My name is Dana Smith, and I am an investor and also an author, and I will have my new book here next month.
Woo! One more? Anyone else?
I'll do it.
Do it.
My name is Valentines, and I'm a master quilter.
Yes. Master. Yes.
It's so cool to stand up and claim the truth of who you are. This is the truth, and there's some power to claiming it in front of people, saying it out loud like that, and really creating it. So now we're going to move on to R and E. Reach for them and expect the best. So we're going to take that R and the E of the dream together and remember that they stand for those things exactly. Reach for them. That means take action and expect the best. The German poet and philosopher Goethe once wrote about dreams, and I know you've heard this. Are you in earnest? Then seize this very minute. What you can do or dream you can do, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Only engage, and the mind grows heated. Begin, and then the work will be completed. Begin. So again, I ask you, what is your dream? What is your dream? And are you committed to your dream? A goal sounds good. Doesn't resonate with me, never did. Sounds good. Goals are good, right? But the word goal has no teeth to it. It isn't actionable. There's no action in goal. But a commitment, on the other hand, a commitment switches everything. That's actionable. And that's what leads you to your dreams. That's what really leads you to your dreams. If you are truly committed, you will reach for them, and you will reach inside and get in touch with them. And then you will follow all kinds of steps, because I tell you, divine providence does step in. It does step in and make the way clear. And if you don't believe me, prove it to yourself. I've proved it to myself, and I know that it works. When we are committed to living whatever our dream is, however we want our life to be, you won't be discouraged or one little slip or setback, so you won't have to feel like you failed. And failure really just means learn from me. We can't say that enough. Learn from me. If this didn't work out, that doesn't make you a failure. It just means learn something and move on. Move on. You will continue to take that action of moving forward, expecting the very best outcome. And then we move into align with source, which is one of my favorite parts of the acronym, but we're going to talk about that next week because it's such a huge topic and a very exciting one. So come join us next week as we get into the aligning with source and manifest your heart's desires. And it's to, first of all, believe in yourself. Believe that you can attain your dream, whatever that may be, and then make a commitment to R, reach for them. E, expect the best. And then A, align with source, and you will absolutely M, manifest. Manifest them, our final letter in the DREAM acronym, manifest. Why? Because when you feel things, when you truly feel things with a passion in your heart and a commitment to that dream, the universal law must respond. It must, and we're going to be discussing that at our workshop, the law of attraction. It's how it works. It's how it works. And we just have to believe that because it's true. And this is, we're going to end with this because I didn't write it, I wish I did, but I have read this many times before, and I'd like to read it one last time. Well, it won't be the last, but another time. It's W.H. Murray's Scottish Himalayan expedition from that. Okay, so take this in, because it's so powerful. When I said that nothing had been done, I erred in one important matter. We had definitely committed ourselves and were halfway out of our rut. we had put down the passage money, booked a sailing to Bombay. This may sound way too simple, but is great in consequence. Until one is committed, there is hesitancy. Hear that? The chance to draw back, always ineffectiveness concerning all acts of initiative. There is one elementary truth, the ignorance of which kills countless ideas and splendid plans. That the moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too. A whole stream of events issued from the decision raising in one's favor, all matters of unforeseen incidences, meetings, and material assistance, which no man could have ever dreamt would have come his way. I learned a deep respect for one of Goethe's couplets. Whatever you can do or dream, you can. Begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Boldness. To step out and say, yeah, I can do this. I can do this. I got this. And I invite you this morning to engage your inner genius. And don't think you don't have an inner genius, because every single person is a creation of the one intense creative power that exists. So within each of us, we have that intense creativity. We can create whatever makes our heart sing. We can. We must believe in ourselves. And we cannot hesitate. That hesitancy, that doubt, kills countless dreams. So I encourage all of us, as we begin our week of February, the first week in February, to step in the direction of our dreams. I don't care what anyone else tells you. They don't know what's inside of you. Only you know that. So let's delve into that this month together. Thank you.